So all in all, I am a hip hop head, whether or not you guys know it. Like, I am a product of my generation from growing up with Slick Rick, growing up with Cool Bo D. I came up in that time as hip hop was just forming to where we are now. So I have a lot of historical perspective on the game. But there was an album that came out in the 90s by a young lady named Lauryn Hill called The Miseducation. And I tell you something about the creativity and the skillfulness and mastery of the instruments in that album with the singing. Man, it's one of the greatest albums, probably next to Songs in the Key of Life. It's probably one of the greatest albums we've had in our culture. You don't believe me? Go back and listen to it. And there's a song in there, and it's a song with her and another fellow neo soul artist named D'Angelo. And if you ever just really sometimes sit back and listen to the way they painted that song and just the kind of love that they described in that album, it raises a lot of questions with me as a man, right? Because we were always raised to be like the protector, to be a lion, to be all of these things, to be hard. But sometimes I always wonder if we were really taught how to properly, express love to women, right? Like if we were ever taught in some of our cultures how to make them feel appreciated, how to make them feel loved, how to properly express, not just in actions, but sometimes in words, just the kind of value women have in our lives, that our significant others play in our lives. And I wonder that, and as I know we're in a Me Too generation, but a lot of these stories have merit. And as I'm listening to a lot of the stories from the hearts of young women about being taken advantage of, about being Me Too'd, about being raped, about being sexually abused, I feel like there has to be a movement in all of this that restores men back to a position where we truly learn how to appreciate women, how we truly learn how to value women, value their opinions, value these things. That doesn't take away from who we are. That doesn't knock us off whatever perch we think we sit on. But there's an honest question we have to ask ourselves in all of this is, do we appreciate our women, and are we properly protecting them? These are some conversations we have to have. Now that I'm a father and I've got 2 daughters that I'm looking for, my heart yearns for the day that I have to see what kind of seeds I've planted in my girls based upon the kind of men they go after. Now, I know they are going to be their own individuals. They're going to make their own choices. But at the end of the day, when I have to know what kind of man I've been based upon their interpretation of what a man, a father, a husband, all of these things are supposed to be, I hope the mirror that I'm looking back at is a mirror that I'm proud of. I hope the image of what I see, the reflection, is somebody that's more like who I think I am. And what I'm representing, I hope that example is one that I can be proud of. And I think a lot of you young men, from the time you're younger, maybe somebody should sit down and have these honest conversations with you about the way we value women. We are probably not part of a culture. I know my culture. If you go back and you listen to songs about the way we viewed women, now that I'm hearing it now in my late 20s, y'all, we were wilding. But I'm just praying from heart to heart, especially to the younger ears of you young men. Listen to me. Learn how to protect the women around you. Whether it's your mother, whether it's your co-workers, value them. Don't be a guy that feels like you always have to be at the top. Learn to push women out too. Like a lot of these women have a lot of experiences and circumstances dealing with us that has been very toxic. And I think a lot of times we do more to invalidate their stories than we do to actually prop them up. So do know one day, whatever seeds you have planted, those seeds will ultimately